Yo, what's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte, and we are taking a look today at some breaking news. Once again, here on the New Jersey Devils defenseman PK Subban. As just last week, we were talking about how PK is probably untradeable due to his contract, $9 million for the remainder of this year. You're talking about if the Devils took on half that salary, it'd still be $4.5 million for another team to acquire him. So you're looking at teams that are contenders. They're not going to have $5 million, let alone for a defenseman that's definitely not even worth $4.5 million for the remainder of this year. So we're going to talk about that today. So we've had some developments on that. So like I said, he went from an untradeable contract to a guy that is now looking like his contract will be terminated by the New Jersey Devils. So this is from Pierre LeBrun, Hockey Insider. Devils GM Tom Fitzgerald sat down with PK Subban and, quote, "We talked about uncertainty and the trade deadline, and we're not looking to extend him at this point." Now that was all we got from that, but now we're starting to hear more stuff. There is the potential here. Rumor has New Jersey and PK Subban working on a contract termination. And if he becomes a cheap free agent, expect to see 3 teams heavily involved. And this is from NHL Trade Rumors. I know some people like them. Some people don't like them. So this is something that is quite an interesting development on the story I posted a couple weeks ago. I posted that video talking about Subban. This makes sense. It makes sense for the Devils. They're not a playoff team. Chances are Luke Hughes, at the conclusion of his season with Michigan, he's probably going to get a little bit of hockey, a little bit of ice time with the Devils. Might as well give him the minutes that PK Subban was taking. There's no pressure here. The Devils are not going to be a playoff team. And you're letting some of the younger defensemen in the organization play more. I don't see how this is really a loss for the Devils. And it's also a win for PK. 32 years old, we don't really know how much he has left in the gas, how much gas he has left in the tank. So maybe he gets one more shot here and maybe go cup chasing, maybe 2 more years, kind of similar to what we saw with Dustin Byfuglien and the Winnipeg Jets or Zach Bogosian. We've seen this happen before. And I think that is a real possibility. And again, I'll keep you guys updated, but this is definitely interesting. So you look at PK over the last couple of years. It's one of those stories. I probably have to do a video when he retires. I hate to say like the decline of PK Subban because I don't like it sounds negative in that sense, but it's just so fascinating how he was from a Norris Trophy candidate, for probably 2 or 3 years, a finalist, to all of a sudden just falling off the map in New Jersey. And you look at what his career has been. I mean, he's been playing in the NHL for a full 82-game schedule since the 2010 season. So he has been in the NHL for over a decade, and he's got a lot of mileage. At 32 years old, he has been in the league a while. Look at these numbers here. I mean, it's incredible. He had 18 points in 68 games. He had a better season last year. He had 19 points in 44 games. So in 24 less games, he had 1 more point than the season prior. And this season, in 10 more games, he's got 1 less point than he did last year. So it's one of those things where it's kind of been up and down for PK. And this is the year where it's kind of like, yeah, this is not looking so good for him. Now, he has at 811 NHL games. He has 463 points. Like, PK is a guy that is well represented in the NHL. Ever since he was drafted by Montreal, he's on the final year of that $9 million cap hit. I think there's going to be teams interested. 3 teams in particular. The first one being the Vancouver Canucks. Now, I think with their recent their East Coast road trip, they did pretty well. I just watched the All Access video on the Vancouver Canucks. They played the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Devils. And then they ended it in Toronto, where they also got a win. So you could tell the Canucks, there's something in there right now. Now, I think the whole situation with Yarrow has definitely made things more complicated. I assume they're going to bring somebody in to be his, the backup behind Demko other than Yarrow. And I could see them going after a guy like PK. What does it hurt, right? You're not going to give up you're not going to give up any assets. As long as the Canucks have enough cap space, probably looking at a $1 million contract, something similar to that. I think he would be a really good fit there for what the Canucks need. The other team that I think is going to be in the mix, as funny as this may sound now, the Boston Bruins. I think the Bruins are an interesting player here. I think they're one of those teams that you kind of have to look at and say, there's a fit there. They're looking for a defenseman. I would think they would go for more of that gritty defenseman, the sandpaper guy, maybe like a Ben Sherratt. But I could see why they would look at Subban, a puck-moving defenseman. It does make sense for what they're looking for. The question is, how would his relationship be in that locker room? There's a lot of guys from that time he was in Montreal. They did not like PK Subban, so it would be weird to see him in the same locker room as some of these other guys. And then the team that I think is the favorite, you look up on Hockey DB or anywhere, his hometown, Toronto, Ontario. The Toronto Maple Leafs, what are we talking about? This is a perfect fit for PK. And again, this is something that maybe the Leafs, do they want to make the window dressing defenseman that they add in, or do they want the legit defenseman that they want, like a Jacob Chikrin? The problem is, Kyle Dubas has been pretty adamant he doesn't want to trade his first-round pick. They don't want to trade Sheldon Nyes. They don't want to trade Nick Robertson. So what are you going to do here in a trade? They're going to have to be creative, or you pick up a guy like PK Subban who's going to be for free. As long as you have $1 million in cap space, that might be questionable for the Leafs, but that is something that could be worked out. And I think for PK to go back there, God, imagine he went and won a Stanley Cup with the Leafs. That would be quite interesting. But that's my prediction. I really think he will end up going to the Leafs here, probably on trade deadline day. They'll make that big announcement for the Leafs. They bring in a goaltender, hopefully. We've heard some rumors about the Leafs going after a guy like Fleury, so I think they're going to be one of the more active teams. It sucks for the Devils because they're not going to get any assets for PK, but I think they'll be happy that this chapter of the Devils is over. It's been failure, and now you're looking at the same story just rewriting itself right now with Dougie Hamilton. Another, sort of a similar situation, a little bit different because he chose the Devils in free agency, but they gave him a ton of money. So, I don't know, we'll see what happens. But guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Where do you think PK Subban will sign on a cup-chasing team this year? Let me know down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again next time.